Hello there everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am the Crimson Tea and today I'll be going over one, if not the best build for Monk in Diablo 3 Season 26, and that is the Ina Mythic Ally build. So without further ado, let's go! This season, Ina is once again a top tier choice when it comes to anything Monk related. It has everything from high mobility to huge damage numbers. So let's go over what gear allows for this beast of a build to exist. First and foremost, we have the item set itself, Ina's Mantra. The bonus for having two pieces provides 100% increase to the passive effect of both your Mythic Ally as well as your Mantra. The 4 pieces bonus gives you all 4 mantras at all times, allowing you to have no mantra skill in your action bar and still get all the effects from all mantras. Besides that, you also get 5% damage reduction for each mythical ally you have out, and those allies are immune to damage. The last bonus makes it so you gain the passive abilities of the 5 runed mythic allies at all times, and whenever you attack enemies you create extra mythical allies matching your chosen rune, up to a maximum of 10 mythical allies. And if that wasn't enough, there's also an increase of 3000% damage for each mythical ally you have out. So it is clear that the goal of the build should be to have an army of mythical allies at your side at all times, because of the increase of offensive and defensive capabilities. Your head slot is Ina's Radiance, with Dexterity, 1 socket and Critical Chance. For the 4th stat, I take Vitality because it makes me feel safer. And the gem itself should be a Flawless Royal Diamond, which provides you with cooldown reduction to your skills, making it possible to spam them more often. The chest is Ina's Vast Expanse, with Dexterity, Vitality, 3 socket diamonds for extra all resists, and increased damage for your mythical ally. Personally, as I don't try to push super high rifts, I just enjoy having Vitality to be more comfy, but at the high end people tend to opt out of it and get more all resists or armor. The choice is up to you, of course. The gloves for the build are Ina's Hold, and you should be looking for Dexterity, Attack Speed, Critical Chance and Critical Damage, but cooldown reduction is also a pretty good stat as well. On your leg slot you also pick up another piece of Ina's, in this case Ina's Temperance. Stat wise it's just a default to main stat, Vitality, 2 socket diamonds and all resistance. As you know, legs need belts, so we're grabbing Ina's Favor with Dexterity, Vitality, Life Percentage and all resistance. We've nearly completed the set, but now let's focus on the complementary slots. For shoulders we take Lefebvre's Soliloquy, which gives us damage taken reduction when we cast Cyclone. Here we take Dexterity, but then we have several options: Vitality or Life Percentage, cooldown reduction for sure, and then ideally Mythic Ally increased damage, but all resist is a decent option if that's all you can get. Bracers is a choice of 2 items, one of them equipped and the other on your cube. Those bracers are Bindings of the Lesser Gods and Spirit Guards. The Bindings of the Lesser Gods make it so enemies hit by your Cyclone take increased damage, while the Spirit Guards allow your Resource Builder skill to reduce the incoming damage you take for 3 seconds, and you can even attack the air to have this effect active, as it doesn't require you to hit anything in particular. The stats should be Dexterity, Vitality, Critical Chance and Cold Damage, because we'll be using the Cold rune on our Mythical Ally skill. On our boots there's really only one choice, and that's the Crudest boots, which allow you to have 2 constant allies on you and make it so mythical allies last longer on their active form, which is really when they shine and do most of the damage. For stats we take Dexterity, Vitality, all resistance, and once you no longer need movement speed because of Paragon level, armor. When it comes to jewelry, there are plenty good options like the Squirt's Amulet with the Focus and Restraint rings, or the one I'm actually using, Traveler's Pledge with Compass Rose, which provides defense bonus when moving and offensive bonus when standing still. And the remaining ring slot is occupied by the Convention of Elements, which as usual is one of the best offensive rings for most builds if you are able to time your ability usage correctly. In the Amulet slot you're looking for cold damage, 1 socket and ideally critical damage and critical chance, but cooldown reduction and attack speed are also decent stats. On your rings, the focus should be on the socket, and then, depending on the difficulty of the content, the stats have different power levels. Personally, I don't mind rings with main stat, vitality, and then one offensive stat, between critical damage, critical chance, or attack speed, but if you are pushing higher rifts, then vitality and even the main stat end up being outperformed by the remaining offensive stats I just mentioned. As always, you can add extra main stat late game if the item is ancient, by using the Chaldean Despair recipe on your Canai's cube. That's all very cool and all, but what's the matter with the 6 Inna's mantra piece? Here you have the best option, and then the I'm just chilling and killing demons option. If you care about picking what's best, then you take Shenlong's Fist of Legend and Shenlong's Relentless Assault, and grab yourself a Ring of Royal Grandeur and insert in your cube power slot. This option in terms of raw power is better, but playing with Shenlong's Spirit set is not something everyone loves because of how different it makes your gameplay flow work, so if you are like me and rather avoid that, then you take Inna's Reach, and you are free to pick whichever Kanai Cube jewelry power you want. The stats for your weapon vary greatly, but the socket with the Flawless Royal Emerald are core. Besides that, percentage damage and percentage attack speed are the highest contributors to your damage, which leaves you with room for dexterity. In terms of Kanai Cube's powers, we take the Flying Dragon for our weapon power, because the increase in attack speed is amazing. On our armor slot, we take the Ether Braces, so if you pick the Spirit Guards, you take the Bindings of the Lesser Gods, or vice versa. And your jewelry slot power is allotted to the Ring of Royal Grandeur if you are using Shenlong's Fist set, or if you are using Inna's Reach, the slot is free for you to pick whatever you desire. There's a Unity Ring if you want to pair it with your follower, there's a Squirt's Necklace, or even a specific Element Prevention and Heal, if you really don't like cold explosions for instance. You can even pick the Convention of Elements power and then equip the Focus and Restraint with your Squirt's Necklace. There are plenty of options, so experiment a bit and see what better fits your playstyle. In terms of legendary gems, we take the Bane of the Trapped, the Bane of the Stricken, and Enforcer, because our damage comes mostly from our mystical allies. When it comes to skills, we have the Way of the 100 Fists, with the Assimilation rune, which makes it so we can keep attacking to get a damage bonus. As our main damage ability, we have the mystical ally with the Water Ally rune. Besides turning our allies into cold damage, this rune also has the best AI, and feels incredible to use because our allies will turn into water waves when we activate the mystical ally skill, and they'll be dashing around, obliterating everything in their path. If you recall some of the items I've mentioned, there were a couple that focus on the Cyclone Strike, so obviously we get it with the Impulsion rune, increasing the range of the skill. For mobility, we take the Dashing Strike, but the rune itself is pretty open-ended. Way of the Falling Star is what I use outside of other content, Blinding Speed is a defensive choice, while Radiance is the offensive one. The choice is yours. Serenity Ascension is one of our most important defensive tools, allowing us a moment of immunity, and with our cooldown reduction we should be able to use it very frequently. The last skill is once again an individual choice. I'm running with Epiphany Desert Shroud, but Inner Sanctuary Temple of Protection is also a very viable option. Either way, it should be a defensive cooldown to help us last longer against the Hordes of Hell. Just a quick reminder that you don't need to have any mantra on your bar, because Inna's 4th piece bonus gives you all the mantra passives effects already. For our passive skills, Unity is amazing as we are a pet build, and Beacon of Itar helps us have our defensive tools up more often, which is always welcome. The 2 remaining passive slots have several options, but I'm running Near Death Experience and Seize the Initiative. The Guardian's Path is pretty cool if you are using one-handed weapons. Harmony is also amazing, but requires your gear to be focused on armor instead of all resistance, while having a specific single resistance in your secondary set. And Relentless Assault is also a very good offensive option. The gameplay loop is pretty simple. By attacking things, you spawn mystical allies, and then you activate them, which makes them go super aggressive, high damage mode, and wipe everything. Cyclone Strikes pulls enemies, making them take more damage because of the Bindings of the Lesser Gods. while making you take less damage due to Lefebvre's soliloquy shoulders. If you activate your mystical allies when Convention of Elements is on cold buff, you deal much higher damage, and if you are running Endless Walk jewelry, there's an even bigger increase to your damage while standing still. Dashing Strike for mobility, and depending on your rune to increase movement speed, damage or defenses. Serenity to avoid certain death, and Epiphany to also help mitigate damage. That's it for today. I hope the video helped you out in some way. If it did, remember to comment, like and subscribe. Diablo Immortal is coming in 1 month, but until then I plan on covering more builds for Diablo 3. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!